What else?
My Theragun.
So do you have a little mini one?
I have a mini one that I travel with. Yeah. Always travel with it. People stare at me because I take it with me on the plane. I don't check it because sometimes it'll just turn on and like I'll get my bag at
I bet they think it's something else.
Yeah. So there's that.
Don't want to have to explain this, guys.
Yeah.
It's a Theragun. I swear.
CJ opened her bag, throwing things out, like holding it up. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Beats Working, winning the game of events, where we share stories and strategies to turn any event or life moment into something unforgettable.
Events are wild, and the people who work in them are some of the most resilient humans on Earth. If you know, you know.
So come with us behind the curtain for a look at their most memorable experiences.
As they say, the show must go on, so let's get on with the show.
Welcome to Beats Working, winning the game of events. Today we're really excited about today's guests, aren't we, Libby?
Very excited.
Now, and if we say that every time, you should know we actually mean it every time. Like, we can be excited about everybody, not just one person, but we're especially excited about this person because we work with her, and that's super cool. So CJ Gonzalez is all about movement. Literally. With 7 years in the transportation industry and laser focus on corporate events for the past 2.5 years, that's when she's been working with us, CJ thrives on making things happen. As the director of community development at Work P2P, she's the person that ensures that clients, teams, and assets all move efficiently, cost effectively, and sustainably. That matters, from point A to B. And you know I love those letters. Whether forging new relationships or strengthening existing ones, CJ brings an all-in 137% mentality to everything she does.
That's very important. 137% people. You're going to hear that number many times in the next 30 minutes.
It's tattooed on her body. Tattooed. Yeah. When not orchestrating seamless event logistics, which is like what she does like all the time. You'll find her in Santa Barbara canoodling with celebrities, which makes Libby and I very jealous, soaking up the good life, traveling with her crew, and proving that events, trust, and execution are everything. CJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you. That's a lengthy intro, but I appreciate it.
Do you feel like a rock star now? Are you pumped up? Are you ready to go?
I feel more important than I am, I think.
You are a big deal. You're a big deal. I mean, we get excited when you come into the office because we don't get to see you very often. So it's a big deal. Super rare that I'm up in Kent, Washington. Although more often than you would think.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, we want to get this started. So events have kind of 3 parts, we think. The planning stage, the event, and after the event, right? Mm-hmm. So transportation logistics can make or break an event, because if the stuff doesn't show up on time or it's broken, that's a problemo. What is the biggest mistake planners make when it comes to moving people and assets, and how do you avoid it?
I think the biggest mistake is the assumption of we have enough time, of, hey, we need to make a last minute change or put a wrench in your schedule. What does that look like? And I say time because time comes with fabrication. If something is in the middle of being fabricated, then it adds more time to the fabricator. Then it adds more time to getting to where it needs to be. Then that equals dollars. And then we're skewing away from being cost effective as well as being climate friendly as much as we can be when we're traveling on the road. So I would say time, like, people just think it can be done. And yes, it can be done, but there's implications to that.
I am kind of one of those people, not all the time, but sometimes I'm a little time positive, or what's that called? Like, a little too hopeful about time. Like, I'm like, 30 minutes. I can clean my house. I can paint my nails. I do my hair.
I think they call that Delulu.
It is a little Delulu. I kind of am like, plenty of time. And then I can get, 45 minutes across town. I can do all those things.
Yeah. Time is huge because it's something we don't get back, right? So I think it's the most important asset in our lives, professionally and personally. So for me, like I take time, like sometimes personally a little too much, but like professionally, you kind of have to have both ears open and listen to like what they want to accomplish, what their vision is. And then that's where the creativity comes in and you pivot, adapt, and then you execute.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you have to tell a client no? Does that happen?
Yeah. So
you're supposed to say no
all the
time. No.
Not as often, I think, as most people, like on my end anyway, not as often as most people would assume. But there are times where there is a no. And I think for me, I've built enough respect to where it's not being questioned, especially because I have like my why to the nose. So at first, I think it could be a little scary when you're saying your first no. But when you've built a rapport and a great relationship with your client, they trust you. They trust like your decisions. They trust your why. So I say like just be open to it. And it's not easy to say no. I don't like saying no. So before I say no, I do like all the research I need to do on my end before the infamous no that no one wants to hear.
It's a thoughtful no.
Yeah.
I identify with that because in past years when I was more proactively selling advertising, and if I had a client that they were really passionate about the full page ad creative they wanted or the 30-second commercial, but it was like wildly ineffective, I didn't want to take their money and run the ad because I knew it wasn't going to work. And then they were going to blame me. They weren't going to blame the creative. So sometimes you do have to say no, even when you don't want to.
Right. And like saying no isn't a bad thing. It's saying no because you have their best interest at hand. Like for me, it's like you always want to say no in the right way. Like Libby was saying, like an easy no, or I forget exactly the words you use.
A thoughtful no.
A thoughtful no.
It's a thoughtful no.
It's a thoughtful no. But no is like huge because you're doing it for them. Like you don't want to say yes and then like Elise say, like she just said, you're setting them up for failure and then you're the one that gets blamed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you definitely want to.
Okay, so you're on site, things are in motion, and for anyone who is not familiar with the specific work CJ does, but CJ is at large events all over the world. So there are thousands of people at these events typically, right?
Right. Yeah.
What's the biggest headcount event you've done?
For me personally, I'm pretty new at the corporate events world. If you talk to a lot of people, they've been in it for decades, and they would say a higher number than I would say 13,000, 15,000.
Oh my God.
And that was just in last November in Chicago for Microsoft Ignite. So that was the largest event that I've been a part of personally, but I would say on average, they range anywhere from like 5,000 to 10,000 people.
So they're big.
Yeah, they're big.
Pretty big. Mm-hmm. So with 5,000 to 10,000 people, I mean, and you got to think of all of the logistics and vendors and partners that come into that.
Right.
A challenge is inevitably going to pop up. So what is the key? What's your key to keeping everything running smoothly when something does?
For me, it's just not freaking out, just allowing things to happen organically and knowing that there's always an ability to figure things out as a problem arises. Like everything always gets figured out no matter what. So I think it's the ability to pivot from the original plan, adapt to that and execute. And you'll hear me saying that a lot. It's my own pivot, adapt, execute because I feel like we deal with it daily a lot in events because we'll go in with a plan, right? We spend like anywhere from 10 to 16 weeks planning an event, the entire suppliers, our team, and we go in with the plan in mind. And then I would say always things skew from that plan. So we have to be able to come together, brainstorm, figure it out, and make it happen and still show up and perform for 5,000-10,000 people and give them the best experience.
That's really good. You know, stressing out and turning into a crazy person is not helpful for anybody, you know, for the client or for your team or for yourself. I like to call it swimming like a duck. Have you guys tired of hearing that yet? Sorry.
I am
saying it.
I'm tired of hearing it.
Too bad.
I've never heard it. So
Okay, go ahead and explain it, Libby. Go ahead and explain it again.
All right. Well, Dixie Duncan, a colleague of ours, one time told me that I just had to keep swimming like a duck. She was like, you just be very calm above the water and underneath your feet can just be paddling like crazy, just going. Paddling your hands or your feet, your duck feet. But then above the water is just smooth sailing.
CJ, I am very curious of the things that you travel with. I would like to talk about those things because one thing that you travel with, I don't know if you still do, but you did once. I saw it and I was fascinated by it. It is your water vessel, but it also serves as like one of those, like a foam roller type of thing, not like the roller that Libby's putting on her face right now, but like one of those rollers, which I was like, that's so smart because I always wish I had one of those when I'm traveling and I didn't know like there was a workaround. So what else?
So that is a Mobot. Mobot is the company. This is not an advertisement, but I am all for the Mobot. I do not travel with it anymore because I have different essentials that I travel with, no matter what. No matter if it's a 5-week stint on the road or a 3-day stint on the road. My pour over coffee station.
Oh, you are big on that coffee.
You are big on
special
that,
coffee.
Yeah, I never compromise coffee. I'm a bit of a coffee snob.
That's so Seattle of you.
Right. So yeah, I travel with my coffee pour over. It's worth the 5 pounds.
5 pounds?
5 pounds. But hey, like once you get
at least you pack the shoes.
I know.
You pack the heavy shoes.
I know.
CJ
my bags are always over the weight limit.
Over.
I'm not throwing shade. Yeah. I just was surprised to hear that weighed 5 pounds.
Yeah, it's
coffee. Your custom coffee maker.
Yeah.
What else?
My Theragun.
So do you have a little mini one?
I have a mini one that I travel with. Yeah. Always travel with it. People stare at me because I take it with me on the plane. I don't check it because sometimes it'll just turn on and like I'll get my bag at.
I bet they think it's something else.
So there's that.
Don't want to have to explain this, guys.
Yeah.
It's a Theragun. I swear.
CJ just ripping open her bag, throwing things out, like holding it up. I promise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That I travel with a candle. So like I'm on the road 9 months out of the year and like I try to make it as home as possible. So those 3 things, candle.
What scent? What
brand and what scent?
So I always stop through San Francisco because I live in Santa Barbara. You can't go a lot of places from Santa Barbara. So I have to transfer. Whenever I transfer through San Francisco, I stop at this little district market and I get this scent called Hate Street. Which is a little neighborhood in San Francisco. And it's kind of like that blue Capri that's famous from Anthropology.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Or I'm like for like the local Santa Barbara scented like candles that have street names and stuff like that. So something to like keep it close to home when I'm somewhere around the world. So that's candle, Theragun, and travel pour over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Elise, what would you, if you could, 3 things, limited to 3 things, what 3 things do you always travel with?
3?
Well, you travel with a lot more, but like just only give us 3 staples since CJ has got 3. What are your 3 travel
Hmm.
staples?
Well, if I'm going for an extended period of time, a week or more, I will take my friend Amy and I call them our hot balls. It's a back massager that you plug in, and it like kneads, it does like kneading on your back, but you can also put it on your legs and other body parts. But I will often travel with that, and that's probably 5 to 10 pounds. It's probably in that range somewhere. I do really like traveling with that when I'm able to, when I've got lots of room. It does take up some room. What else do I have to travel with? I have to travel with my secondary screen for my laptop because I just need the extra screens for sure. What's the third thing I would travel with that I would have to have? I have traveled with a candle myself because, some places you can stay, even the nice places, like you might not like the smell.
Yeah.
I'm sensitive to smells, and meaning not sensitive like I have any allergies, but like I either like the smell or I really don't. So I think those would be the 3 things. What about you, Libby? You can't say candy. That's consumable.
I can't say snacks because snacks are like the number one thing I travel with. A whole bag of snacks. If I'm thinking a work trip, I am going to bring my mouse. I just
Pet
really
mouse?
the what? My pet mouse. My emotional support mouse. No, my computer mouse. I just hate using a finger pad.
Yeah.
It slows me down.
I can't do it. I
mean, I can, but I just don't like to.
I can't.
Yeah.
I would say that. I'm trying to think of anything else that's not like a standard thing people
you have
bring.
to have your headphones.
Yeah, but everybody brings headphones, right?
Oh, that doesn't count.
We're talking about like your must-haves, not your givens.
Yeah, not the things you would
okay.
just like automatically bring.
Okay, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the rules.
I do bring like multiple mobile chargers that don't connect into a wall because I always need one.
You're like the mom on empty in the red.
I'm just always. I think my phone's in the red right now. And I can't say snacks. Well, there is like a green juice that I've been drinking lately. It's like a mix. And it's got all kinds of like
the
psyllium and fiber and like, things you need when you hit 40.
Oh, for sure.
So I did pack those on my trip actually last weekend. I did fly with those. But it's really good because it makes me drink like 2 full glasses of water immediately. Not immediately. I don't drink it the second I get up, but like in the morning, which it's hard for me to do. It's kind of like Henry's internal cleanser. This is this like powder you get from this little juice shop on the east side here in Seattle. Next time you're here, I'm going to give you some.
Yeah.
It's something that like Dr. Oz, I think, would promote because of the way, I'm trying to think of how to say this. The way that it like flushes out your digestive system.
Interesting.
It's not the same level as Henry's, but it's close. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Poop. But okay.
Everybody poops. Okay.
Everybody does. And if you can't laugh about it, like that's a long life.
And we all know that traveling can affect that activity.
It can.
Like it
can.
can. So
that you're not eating the same stuff. Yeah.
You're not.
Okay. So after the last vehicle, the last truck, the last trailer rolls out and the event wraps, what are the most important takeaways that event organizers should focus on to improve for next time?
Like for me, what I do is just really like reflect on the start to finish and see like our highs and our lows just from a P2P perspective. And then I go into that and I reflect on site with the other suppliers that we work with. And if there was any communication errors or something we could work on for the next show, I just take down just a few notes and I go from there. I will say, like, I've been pretty lucky in the last 2.5 years. I've been able to build like really good relationships with every supplier that we work with. And it really feels like a complete team which helps, and more so like family, because we're able to have open communication and the ability to brainstorm together and not take things personally. I think that's one thing, like you can't take things personally in this industry. You have to like hear them, listen to them, and then go from there. And I think that just comes with like building that relationship and trusting one another.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, like with all the events you do, what percentage are events that happen annually versus our one-offs? Because in that case, you're probably making notes for yourself for the following year because you know you're going to be, working on that event again.
Right. I would say 97% happen annually. There's some that are one-offs that happen. Yeah, I would say about 97%. So yeah, I do go back to my notes. I keep everything in a portal and then I'll go back to the tabs and like see what we did last year, see what we didn't do, and go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got time for a bonus segment. We covered the beginning, the middle, and the end. And now it's the fun stuff.
Nice.
Okay, this segment is called, I promise I didn't eat those Skittles before I got on here. It's just the green juice. It's making me feel so good today. Okay, this segment is called It Ain't Bragging If It's True. So I want you to tell us about a moment where you and your team that you speak so lovingly of pulled off an impossible logistical challenge and totally crushed it. 137% crushed it. And then after that, I want you to tell us a little bit about 137%.
Perfect. I would say biggest challenge was shipping internationally into Sao Paulo, Brazil. It's not.
Her name was Lola.
Yeah, it is one of the hardest countries to get clearance through customs. So when we're shipping gear, like if we're not 137% accurate what we put on the bond, like stuff's going to get flagged. And for me, I think that was the biggest shipment of about, I don't know, like 20 pieces that we shipped from the States for the show. And mind you, this is the entire shipment for the entire show. So it's like internet, it's like lanyards, it's stuff for the attendees. It's like all the important stuff that you just can't go to a local Best Buy, Target to purchase. So I heard all these horror stories about things just basically getting held up. And you have, for lack of better words, you need some money to get it cleared.
Hey.
So I had a lot of anxiety through that.
Yeah.
Shipment process until it got cleared. And mind you, like I'm not someone who struggles with anxiety. So I was tossing and turning. Mind you, I sleep very well. I did not sleep until
I'm a very good sleeper. This isn't a bragging. Okay, that's another bragging. Okay, yeah. I guess it's true though, so it's not bragging.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just like one of those things, and it was just a constant like me communicating with Tracy on our team, who's like the guru of international shipping. Like she knows everything, like stuff where I'm just like, why do you know that? But she knows it. And I was just like talking to her constantly throughout the day. Like we were basically in a relationship during those like 4 weeks. So
she's your work wife.
Yeah, basically. So I think just trusting in her knowledge through international shipping allowed us to basically get that cleared through customs without any issues. And her relationships that she has over years of experience shipping into Brazil, like really allowed us to do everything accurate and get it through customs, get it to show site, no issues, no delays, no additional money needing to be paid to get it cleared. So, yeah, it was just one of those things where it felt like, what if I thought about all the what ifs for the first time, I would say.
Well, if CJ's not sleeping,
ain't nobody sleeping.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also that challenge where like I have those stresses, but the client doesn't know about it.
Yeah,
You know?
because you're a duck.
Yeah. So it's just like the stresses exist. It's just a matter of like to what extent for this given scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm not going to go to the client unless there's weights on the bottom of my feet and I'm drowning. So
And you need $1 million
yeah,
to get you through
basically.
customs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, tell us real quick about 137% before we wrap.
So 137% is something where a friend of mine, her son, basically, I played soccer my entire life, football. I know we're in America, so I should say soccer so everyone understands what it is, but it's really called football. And I was number 7 growing up, and I was really close to him, and he wanted to be number 7. Long story short, he couldn't be number 7, so he got number 13, his mom's favorite number. And he's like, but together it's 137%. And we always want to go above 100. So that just kind of stuck with me, a 7-year-old saying that, having that knowledge. So I think society like has this whole baseline of where we need to be. And for me, it's like, I like going against the grain, like doing my own thing. So for me, anything I do, I'm trying to be all in, giving 137% more. And I think just like personally, like you see a lot of things where people don't have that ability and it's just like, well, I don't have any excuse. So like I need to show up and give that. So yeah, that's where 137% comes from. And it is tatted because of the sun. You can't really see it, but it's on my wrist. Right.
And do you know, I'm just curious, do you know how many tattoos you have?
No,
Do you
but
have 137 tattoos, or is that maybe a goal?
No, I don't have a goal. I remember the tattoos I wish I didn't get in college.
Yeah.
So there's plenty.
Do you have a tramp stamp like I do?
No, just, 2 clovers on my chest.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
20 years old. Like everyone, if you're in college, wait until you're like 24 and have a sound mind.
Just give it some time. Yeah, because your frontal lobe isn't fully developed until 25, right?
That, and I'm assuming you're going to a lot of parties.
It's a true story.
Yeah.
Well, CJ, thanks for joining us. We're definitely going to have you back because we want to hear all the things that happen out in the field. Perfect. And you always come back with stories and really cool experiences. That is a wrap on this episode of Beats Working. Do you have an idea or want to reach out? You can email us at info@beatsworking.show. And please remember, every detail matters, every moment counts, and no matter what, the show must go on.
Thanks for listening to Beats Working, Winning the Game of Events, where we explore what it takes to make moments unforgettable.
If you're leaving with a little more inspiration, a little more perspective, and a big side ache from all of the laughing at our funny jokes, then we've done our job.
Beats Working is a Work P2P production. If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platforms.
Your support helps us keep the magic going.